and the National Steering Management Committee under the able leadership of the President, we resolved yesterday that it is only fair that we accord all those who have expressed interest to run for elected positions at the grassroots level an opportunity to do that through the repeat elections in the select polling stations that had disputes. Two, is to state that our party being a very accommodative and all-inclusive party, one where we do not want to leave anyone behind. We also resolved that we need to give all our members in the National Governing Council, that is all our elected leaders, a midterm report on the implementation of our manifesto. You will remember that we have stated before that under the able leadership of President Ruto and in our implementation of the plan, which was our manifesto, we did indicate that we would implement this plan, comma to full stop, paragraph by paragraph, and page to page. And those who have been very keen will see that all the government programs that we are rolling out, whether it is rollout of the infrastructure fund, all these are things that were in our manifesto. And therefore, we want to update our leaders right from the grassroots in terms of our MCAs all the way to governors on where we are on the implementation of this plan. Two, as I said, being an inclusive party, we want to make sure that all our leaders and all our party organs are involved in the process that we did mandate the party leader under the MYKE organ, mandated him to engage with ODM in structured negotiations to make sure that as we go to the 2027 elections, we have a party, one that has proper governance structures and whose mandate comes from the people, right from the grassroots. And two, that as we strongly believe, this party, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition, is a party that is forming government after next year's elections. But we have invited our colleagues in ODM under the broad-based government. We have had a very good working arrangement with them. We have listened to them as they engaged in their National Steering Committee meeting and the resolutions that they have passed as a party. And we welcome and accommodate what they have said. And that is why we mandated the party leader to constructively engage with them. And we want to take that decision now from NEC to the next party organ, which is the NGC. And we will be taking that to the NGC on Monday next week under the chairmanship of the President, State House on Monday. As I said, we don't want to leave anyone behind. Many of the people who have lodged complaints regarding our grassroots elections are thousands. In fact, I must commend the National Elections Board and the Dispute Resolution Tribunal for the many hours that they have put in to try and resolve many of these disputes. And many of those disputes were lodged by leaders who aspire to run for either MCA, governor, members of parliament seats, and including two who have also expressed interest to run on UDA for the position of president. And therefore, all those people, we do not want anybody to feel that they are being left behind, and that is why we resolved that as early as now, we want to register all of them so that those who have interest in running for positions on UDA and Kenya Kwanza can register, and we will engage with them again under the leadership of the party leader the other Monday, as has been mentioned in this communique. Na asanteni sana.
So to provide clarity on what exactly the UDA party is trying to achieve is that it is our desire to have an elected party official at each of the 27,277 polling centers across the country. We know it's a big desire, but we are bullish about it. Remember, the UDA party is a record-setting political party. We are the only political party post the new constitution that has at least an elected official in 41 out of 47 counties. We want to grow that number. It is our desire that in 2027, we shall have an elected official, either an MCA, member of parliament, governor, in each of our 47 county governments. And the only way that you can achieve that is by having party officials at the grassroots. And that's why we are doing this exercise quite meticulously. It is a big ask for the National Election Board and the various members that are involved in this exercise. But we believe that if you want to offer a good product to the Republic, then you have to do it right. And this is the only way. We appreciate that up to this far, members of our party have participated quite actively. There have been all the complaints that have been raised, and we believe we are getting it better. We did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now we are going for phase 4 on the 7th of March and phase 5 on the 28th of March. We believe in each of those sessions, we shall be getting better at it, so that at the end of it, on the 28th of March in the evening, UDA as a party will have polling center officials in all the 27,277 polling centers across the country. No other party has ever done that, but we believe we can do it because that's who we are. Last thing that I want to say is that we appreciate the partnership that we have set out so far, going to 2 years now, with our partners, the ODM party and the affiliates parties of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. But we must prepare for the next phase of elections. And this is the time, because you know that in a little bit of slightly over a year, we shall be having party primaries, then subsequently the general elections in August of next year. And that's why we are setting this aspirants forum, so that anybody who wants to run for any position that is available within using the UDA political party has an opportunity to be had. And that is a forum that is being provided on the 4th of February, 2026 at State House, Nairobi. So thank you very much. We wish you well.
So we'll take a very few questions if there are any. Yeah. That's one. Number two, that will be fielded by Kimani and Aaron. Yeah.
Chris, so we know from Mobi TV, still on the matter of that UDA election pact. Will this mean that the other Kenya Kwanza coalition of affiliate parties will sign a new or fresh agreement with UDA, or they'll be left behind?
That will be fielded by the chair. And the last one? That's it. Okay.
So just to respond is that, you know, negotiations are negotiations. You go with what you feel is rightfully yours, and the other parties also will come. The 10-point agenda has given us a basis for working with the ODM. We have achieved some of the proposals that were made therein. In fact, if I'm not wrong, this afternoon, the committee on the implementation of the 10-point agenda has actually a meeting with the party leader of the UDA party and the leader of the Kenya Kwanza coalition to bring him up to speed on what has been achieved so far and what is still pending. So that has given us the foundation, the place to start. But we believe that there is more that we can achieve if we build on that particular foundation. Therefore, it is not a separate arrangement. It is building on what already has been achieved on the 10-point agenda alongside other things.
So, Kimani.
I think there's nothing more important to add, Tenges. On the 10-point agenda, as my colleague has said, this afternoon, indeed, that committee will be briefing His Excellency the President. I had an engagement myself with them last December. I think they also met with the leader of the Senate. They met with the leader of the minority in the Senate and the leader of minority in the National Assembly. And therefore, we're on course on the implementation of the 10-point agenda. And they will be briefing the President this afternoon on where they are in terms of that. But our engagements with our colleagues and brothers in ODM go beyond the 10-point agenda. As I mentioned, it is our intent to be an all-inclusive party and coalition that brings everybody on board and all Kenyans on board. And therefore, we look forward to working with ODM even into the next elections next year. Therefore, the engagements that we will have with them and the negotiations we have mandated the president to engage them on go beyond the 10-point agenda into an arrangement on how we get into the 2027 elections, forming the government that I said we are very confident, since we have a clear vision, clear agenda on what we want to implement for the people of Kenya. That is why we are confident even as we come together to brief our members and the country on where we are in implementation of the agenda or of the plan.
Says you can.
As this negotiation goes on, I think it's important to say that the pact that we have with our partners within the larger Kenya Kwanza coalition remain intact and very valid. We cannot go to look for new partners and lose the old ones. And I think the president has been very clear on the need to unite the nation. And so in that effort, we are reaching out to everybody. So let it be known that the Kenya Kwanza partners remain the partners of UDA and very important partners, and that nothing will change. And as we move on towards the general election, I'm sure we are going to see a lot happening towards that unification process, and we are very committed. And it's important also, I say, that the UDA party has worked very hard to facilitate the committee that oversights the implementation of the 10-point agenda. And so we are not just involved at the executive level, but also as a party, we are monitoring on a day-to-day to ensure that we stay true to the 10-point agenda. Because our unity, our coalition, our partnership must be based on real issues that affect Kenyans and not just, people coming together for the sake of it. So thank you very much. May I say that the National Elections Board, it's important to say that the National Governing Council on Monday will also include members elected on the ANC party that merged with UDA. They'll be part of our meeting on Monday. And then let me also, and the friends of the party. We have observers. We also have some